crack the old bonnet. Advisable to wear gloves. It's going to be hot and dirty. Rub it around so it's a bit oily, otherwise they might snag on the way in. Check the hole, pop that in there. Long pointy nozzle. Right, that's in. The funnel you'll need later. There we go then, that's the messy part done. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a service on this old G500. It's going to be the oil filter, both air filters and the cabin filter. The weather's been a bit hit and miss today, so to make sure we don't get rained off, we're going to be doing it in the shed. I hope the lighting is okay for you guys and you get to see the whole process in full. Anyway, best stop talking and let's get stuck in. First job we need to do is we need to jump in, get the motor running, and let the old engine warm up for a bit. Right, the dash is still in pieces as the audio install is still ongoing. Before I get in, I do bloody love those tread plates. Right, we are in the belly of the beast. So yeah, this is what's going on with the dash. The new head unit's sort of in, however I need the new fan vents because they broke when I was taking it out. Also, this isn't clipped in because I need some of the new spring clips. All coming next week from Mercedes. Happy days. Right, this will also be a good time to test if the stereo works. So I've just plugged the screen in, it's not screwed in at all. Up and running. Awful noise. What a beast. Crack the old bonnet. And we shall start with the easy stuff. I've let the engine warm up. We'll pull this cover off and do the old air filters. I assume that just pulls off. Happy days, put that to one side. Disconnect the old pipes. Now I think this whole unit has to come off. Oh. There we go. Cool, man. And then we're just going to undo these screws here. What are they? Torx bits. I think I'll do that on the ground. Got a couple of man filters to go in. How manly. C3689. T25. Yeah, T25. So we'll crack them all first. Spin them out. Become increasingly impatient. Find your favourite power tool and spin them out properly. And these should just lift off. Alright, so that's the outtake side. Let's have a look at the intake side. See what we've been dealing with. Oh, she's got a little bit of fluff in there, but nothing too bad. Pretty good. Quick bash, make sure there's nothing in there. You might want to hoover that out, it's full of bits. Let's pull this one out, put it up. A few bits and pieces in there. Take your new filters, slap them in. Make sure they go completely in that outer rim. You don't want it hanging out. Squish it in. Okay, that's seated nicely, that's seated nicely. We're not seated nicely here. Just run that across with your hand. There we go, lovely. Next one, filter on, filter in. Get both ends in. Rub the sides down. Flip her back on. You don't want to do these up with a power tool. I'm going to just do them to where they're nearly down and finish off by hand. Okay, now we're just going to finish them off by hand. All good. Back up here in the engine bay. Just looking up here, we've got a little bit of I'm not sure if we've got a rocker cover gasket leak or just where they've spilt oil around the filler. A little job to do in the future. So you've got to make sure that the intake is seating on the intake hole. Let's get the torchlight. Yeah, intake on the intake hole down there. Once you know that's going in the right place, it just clips onto those rubber bungs. Just being held off by the intake pipes. Okay, I think we're there. Back first, then the front. Intake pipes back on. A little wiggle and a push. Intake pipes back on. Then the front cover. Okay, there's two locating bits that clip underneath. Them in first, down. Next up, we're round to the cabin filter. That's seated in here. Interesting, it's got Phillips screws. I thought they'd have Torx the same as the air filter. Cabin filter I'm using again, a MAN CUK 2545. Looks like this. It should have a directional arrow, so obviously the air is going to go into the cabin. So just double check when you pull the old one out it's the right way. So spin these out. Pop that out of the way. Pull the cabin filter holder out. And as I said, just as you pull it out, check the direction. Yeah, it goes into the car, and they had a MAN filter in there also. Quite dirty, that. In fact, filthy. So that one's well overdue, that one. The air filters weren't too bad, but that's quite bad. Airflow going into the vehicle. Feed that in. It looks like this bottom part slots into the fan sort of shape. And again, the top, it just goes one down and picks up on that lip. Okay, happy that's in. So I'm just going to check the hole. Check it doesn't need a vacuum. Yeah, it does need a vacuum actually. Nice long pointy nozzle. Have a look in there again. Better. Right, get the filter with a little tab at the top. Drop it in. Stick the lid on. Simple as that. Okay then, now that's done, I'm going to crack on with the oil change. Before I start the oil filter change, I just need to make sure I've got the right tool for the oil filter. This is brand new, just bought it on Amazon. Fits fine. I think it's a 14 spline 74mm one. Another thing you're going to need is the oil filter, which comes with all the gaskets. Seen videos of these before, there's tons of gaskets on this big post, and this comes with all of them. I've checked it already. So at this point, when we're just about to go underneath the car, you're going to want to get your favourite drain bowl, the funnel you'll need later, advisable to wear gloves, a ratchet, that's a 3/8 breaker, and a set of decent sockets. You don't need deep sockets, and I just like these to use. Also, probably worth getting some emergency rag, and I like to line my floor with cardboard, just in case I spill over. So underneath the front of the truck, this is the front skid plate, and then just beyond that, there's your oil sump bolt. I've just checked the size, it's a 13mm, so I need to somehow position the camera so it's not going to get soaked in oil, but you can all see what's going on. Alright then, I think the camera is in the optimal place to see the mess I'm about to make. Let's see if we can crack this off. Access is pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. So I've cracked the nut now. Just a case of pulling the sump bolt. It's going to come pouring out. Let's try and catch it as it goes. Right, be careful with the oil, it's going to be hot if you've warmed the oil engine up. Now I've left the rag on that side, but I need the rag on this side. Oh, rag! Okay. Will it overflow? Alrighty, the oil's just about slowed down to a dribble, so then I'm going to put the sump plug back in the bottom of the engine. We've got the washer to go on the sump plug. You should replace these every time. I don't, I normally get away with it. But if you get a leak, then it's sort of your own fault. It is a crush washer after all. So, just pop that in there. This is where you drop it into the drain bowl and then you have to go fishing. Right, that's in. Back up here. Nip the sump plug up. There will be a torque spec for that. Click, click. And then it definitely doesn't hurt to spray off the area with brake cleaner, where if you want to check with any leaks, you can see them straight away. So there you go, that's all the oil out. Next thing we need to do is change the filter and then refill. So nice clean sump plug now. Steering arm's clean. Need to do a bit of cleaning on the bash plate up here. And I'll catch you back at the top. There we go then. That's the messy part done. Okay, back at the top. Want to pull the oil filter. I just got myself a new set of gloves. Let's test to see if this socket's any good. Bought it on Amazon for about £8. So looks like it's done the trick for me. It's a good idea to have a good fresh bit of rag on hand here because this is going to drip. As you pull it out, I'll try and get you some light on that side. There we go. Right, it's making a mess already. Let's get this out of the way. Down here now, looks like they made the oil filter housing fit my drain bowl perfectly. And it's a good time to show you the O-rings we need to change with this. So the big one here, medium one there, little one there, little one there. Interestingly, there's a rubber band on the filter. I've not seen that before. We've got an oil filter with built-in anti-rubbing strips, so I don't think I need the elastic band. And we've got all the O-rings. Let's try and get this filter off. Oh, it comes off dead easy, right. And back with a little electrical screwdriver. Just prise the O-rings off gently. It's not a bad idea to line them up in the order you took them off, so you can know what replaces them. And then finally, the big one. Good idea to get a little bit of oil on these. You don't want them twisting up or anything. Filter housing, main gasket, get that seated, easy. Next one. Okay, that's seated. Okay, it's on. Next one. Get that seated. That one's on. A little bit of dirt in that groove, so let's get that off. Still clean. The new little gasket, rub it around so it's a bit oily, pop it on the top. Okay, next up the oil filter. Don't think that's directional, looks symmetrical to me, so we'll just stick that on there. That's it. Now I've got to pop that back in the top. Okay, back at the top now. Just make sure the O-rings are lubricated, otherwise they might snag on the way in. Check that's all in the slot. Everything's seated fine. Carefully drop that down the hole. Screw it on by hand, should go on dead easy, and then just nip it up at the end. There is a torque spec on there, 25 Newton meters. I'd prefer just to nip that up by hand, but if you fancy torquing it up, there's nothing stopping you. For me, that's fine. I can monitor it and check it for leaks. Definitely don't over tighten it. It is only plastic after all. Now I've just got to try and get this nightmare of a tool off. And she's off. Right, so the oil filter's now changed. Next job, fill the oil up. Ready to fill the old girl back up. What you're going to need, funnel. Make sure it's clean. You don't want any bits going in the engine, so if it's been sat in the shed and it's full of dust, you want to get all of that out. You're going to want to pop the filler open. And then you're going to need approximately 8 litres of oil. I'm using Liqui-Moly 5W40. This one's rated for Mercedes. MB Fuggerber 229.5, so it must be the one. Let's try not to make a massive mess of this. So these are 5 litre cans, so I can pretty much pour the entire thing in without worrying about it first go. First 5 litres in the old girl. Let's crack the next one. If any of you are mountain bikers, it's almost like crack a molly o'clock. Good one. So 3 litres of this one. Okay, just over 2 left in the can now. So I will close the cap off, fire it up, and then check the level. Obviously, when you do this, just make sure there's nothing left under the engine bay when you start the engine in case it rattles and falls down. She's alive. So yeah, she sounds absolutely sweet. I'll let it run for a little bit, turn it off, and then check the dipstick over here once she's shut down and the oil's drained down a little bit. Okay, time to pull the dipstick. To be fair, I've never even pulled the dipstick on this car, so where are we at? Clean it off. Okay, you can see just above the halfway point towards max. That is exactly how I'd want it. Okay then guys, there's your simple service on the G500 done. We've done an oil change with the filter, we've done the air filters and the cabin filter. Jobs I still need to do on this vehicle, I need to go underneath and sort the diffs out. The diff lock actuators, they both need bleeding because I think that's the reason why my rear diff lock got stuck on last time. I want to change the differential fluids, that way I can check if there's any chips of metal in the rear diff, if there's any damage caused by that diff lock issue I had before. And also I need to change the gasket on the diff lock actuator on the front axle as that's leaking fluid down the front axle. So that's one job, I'll probably put that in one video. And also I'm going to do a CV boot change on the front CVs, which are within the axle on this, because they're throwing black grease around the inside of the alloy wheels. This is a big job. I need to pull the hubs, the swivel seals. It's going to be a big project job, one of the scariest that I'm going to undertake on this car, but I'm looking forward to it. So after all these jobs, you need to consider these as like little side quests I'm doing, because I want to go camping, I want to go on big road trips in this car, but first I want to make sure that everything is tip-top, going to be reliable and ready to go. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you have a great day.